is here, ladies and gentlemen. The NBA playoffs are finally here. From Studio 2B in Indianapolis, Indiana, it's your boy, BillyFai. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the BillyFai podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to what I got to say. It's playoff time, baby. We finally here. You old school cats, y'all know what this music means. It means it's go time, ladies and gentlemen. We got heavy, highly anticipated matchups in this first round of the NBA playoffs. We got the Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers. We got the Indiana Pacers versus the Miami Heat. The Mavs versus the Clippers. Jazz versus the Nuggets. And one of the most highly anticipated first round matchups in a long time. We have the hottest player in the league and Dame Lillard facing off potentially this season's NBA MVP and LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh, it's going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be so good. But we are here. We are finally here. The NBA playoffs are here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the BillyFai podcast, NBA playoff edition. Ladies and gentlemen, since the NBA season has restarted in Orlando in the bubble, we have had tremendous storylines, outstanding games, great gameplay, record-breaking performances. Guys are giving it their all. They don't have no fans there. They don't have their family there. But these true professionals have given us fans a little bit of normalcy these last 2 weeks. And they're also playing their butts off. The guys said they wanted to play. They've came and they have done just that. These guys have really came out there and performed. I don't know how it is to usually perform in front of thousands of people every night, to come in and perform in front of nobody, but these guys have not missed a beat, ladies and gentlemen. And for that, I would like to tip my cap to the NBA players, because you guys have really made fans like me enjoy this bubble. But now we done got that out the way, let's talk about these playoffs. Woo! We here, baby. Ah, man, it's been a long time, but we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, what is wrong with the two favorites in the NBA, the Lakers and the Bucks? I've always said you don't want to limp into the NBA playoffs. Maybe you can do it in football. Maybe you can do it in the NCAA tournament. Maybe you can do it in baseball. But you can't limp into the NBA playoffs. You can't do it. And ladies and gentlemen, the favorites to win the title are the Los Angeles Lakers, and right behind them are the Milwaukee Bucks. Neither one of them finished with a winning record in these 8 games during the bubble. Neither one of them has looked good during the bubble. Lakers their offense looked like lackluster. They couldn't find a rotation. Frank Vogel was struggling trying to find what core guys he was going to use during this time. We still don't know who's going to be that consistent third scorer when LeBron and AD are not on the floor. It looked like it's Kuzma. Kuzma had a pretty good 8 games during the seeding games in the bubble. Can he keep that going? But he still needs help. Danny Green has been shooting up bricks the whole freaking time. J.R. Smith, his seat is so hot because he can't get on the court. Dion Waiters, he started off good, but then he went cold. Caldwell Pope, he rolls his ankle every game. Still don't have Rondo. They're missing Avery Bradley. The Lakers look bad. Can they turn that switch on? We've seen LeBron do it before. AD's never been in this type situation before when he's on a team with so much expectations. He was on the Pelicans team. They made the playoffs 2 times while he was there. One time getting into the second round. But he's never been on a squad with this much expectations since he was in college, quite frankly, at University of Kentucky, which he ended up winning a national title. But this is different. He was the man in UK. LeBron is trying to make him the man in LA. But LeBron is still doing his thing. But again, they don't have a rotation right now, a real stage rotation that Frank Vogel, that is, really can trust on the floor. And when is that going to happen? It's going to cause LeBron James, who will be 36 years old in December, to continue to play heavy minutes. Do you want your star, your oldest player on the team, playing that many minutes in the playoffs? Guys are going to have to step up. You brought Danny Green in there to help with that outside shooting. He hasn't hit a damn thing in the bubble. Caldwell Pope, he's the same way. Hasn't hit a damn thing in the bubble. Who is going to step up and help these guys out? Like I said, Kuzma's done good, but the Lakers still need help. They need a bulk of participation. Maybe when Rondo gets back, I haven't seen Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee at all during the bubble. At all. Maybe when Rondo gets back, he clears quarantine today. But maybe when he gets back to playing, because he's probably going to miss the whole first round, maybe he can be the facilitator and that general to get that second unit going, him and Caruso. But we will see. I don't know. Now let's switch over to the East, talk about these Milwaukee Bucks, because they don't look that good either. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say Milwaukee probably looks even worse. Milwaukee looks worse than the Lakers. Milwaukee, they can't hit an outside shot to save their life. Other than that, their defense, they're known one of the best defensive teams in the league. Teams are scoring like crazy on them right now in the bubble. Like crazy. Giannis is on the court. He's scoring. When he sits down, who is scoring for them? Same thing on the Lakers side, with the Lakers. You got Chris Middleton supposed to be that next guy. He's done okay in the bubble, but who's going to help out Middleton? George Hill? No. Wesley Matthews? No. Brook Lopez can do it, but he's going to wear himself out on the defensive side as well when these bigs put him. Look, bigs shoot jumpers now. So not only as you're big, are you concentrating on jumpers on the offensive end, bigs, you need to start learning how to concentrate on the defensive end, learn how to defend outside that key. Defend outside that paint, because the same thing you're dishing out, you cannot take. You can shoot jumpers all day as bigs, but guess what? That same big you're defending can do the same, and you do not know how to defend. There's only not even a handful of guys in the league that can do that. Anthony Davis is one of them. Giannis can do it. Brook Lopez cannot do it. Kristaps Porzingis cannot do it. On the offensive side, they can. Defensively, they can't step out in that perimeter and defend. Giannis, AD, there's not many more bigs that can do that. And it just so happens they're on the same two teams that we're talking about right now, the Lakers and the Bucks. You don't have bigs that can go out there and defend these other bigs that can shoot jump shots. And that's going to hurt a lot of teams. Milwaukee, they got plenty of big. Milwaukee is a very long team. But when you face a team like Toronto can score all over the floor. Toronto can go inside, outside, mid-range, and they can defend. The Toronto Raptors, who are my pick to come out the Eastern Conference, have, in my eyes, have no weaknesses. If I want to be petty, the only thing I can say bad about Toronto is when the game is on the line, 5 seconds left, down by one possession, who shoots the ball? Now, with that being said, Toronto has been so efficient on both sides of the ball, the game does not come down to the last second when you're playing the Toronto Raptors. You either going to get blown out, or they're going to make a run toward the end of the game, or they're going to come up with that defensive stop to stop you in those final seconds. Toronto trusts their D. Milwaukee can't do that. Milwaukee does not have the whole arsenal like Toronto. Remember, they lost last year against Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals after being up 2-0. Nick Nurse, one of the best coaches in the NBA right now, and I'm not just saying that because he won the title. I'm saying that because what he did this year is probably a way better coaching job than what he did last year when he had Kawhi. When you got a superstar like Kawhi, it makes your job easier as a coach when you got superstars. But when you have a superstar and you won the way Toronto did last year, and you lose that superstar, and you got a bunch of guys who are just good and collectively make your squad a force, and they just play ball, that's a testament to the coach. That's a testament to the coach. Look at Nick Nurse's resume. I know I'm talking about Milwaukee right now, but I just want to look. Let's just talk about Nick Nurse real quick. Look at that resume. Look what he done in the G League. 2 G League championships. A lot of guys that he had in the G League played for him are right there in Toronto. You come to Toronto, you take over for Dwayne Casey. In your first year, you win an NBA title. In your second year, you got the same record then that you had last year with that Finals MVP and Kawhi Leonard. And y'all trying to tell me this ain't a testament to the coach? Nick Nurse is one of the best coaches in the NBA right now. Right now, one of the best coaches in the NBA because of his experience, because of how his coaching style. They love to play for him. You can tell that. I'm not saying they don't like that in Milwaukee with Mike Budenholzer. The Bucks just don't have that core. They just don't have. They don't have those role players that'll help out like they should. I think Milwaukee is still a couple of players away and a couple of role players away. Yeah, what you done in the regular season doesn't mean nothing, especially in the NBA when it comes to the playoffs. Now, they're not going to have no problem with their first round matchup in Brooklyn. Let's just keep this professional. They're going to blow Brooklyn out. 4 games. Yeah, I'm looking for a sweep. Maybe Brooklyn might still won. Now, we know in the bubble they beat Milwaukee because they were 19-point underdogs. But come on, man. They're not going to beat Milwaukee Bucks 4 out of 7 games. It's not going to happen. Stop playing. If you are, y'all are smoking something different than what I'm smoking right now. And I'm just going to leave it at that. The other Eastern Conference matchup, the number 2 seed versus number 7 seed Toronto Raptors Milwaukee will play Orlando. It's Toronto who plays Brooklyn. Forgive me for that. I'm sorry. Toronto plays Brooklyn. I'm looking for Toronto to sweep Brooklyn. I probably won't even entertain that series on my television. I'm just gonna let you know right now. I can just come home late from doing whatever I gotta do, wake up, go to work, go eat some chicken or whatever. That might be a good time for y'all to go ahead and wash clothes, clean up around the house, smack the old lady on the butt or whatever it is y'all do. Whatever. If you got some errands to run, do it during the Toronto, Brooklyn, or Milwaukee, Orlando series. I'm telling you right now, because that is going to be the 2 lowest rated series in the whole playoffs right there. I mean, I'm wasting Wi-Fi just talking about that right now. I'm looking for Milwaukee to bust Orlando upside the head 4-0. I'm looking for Brooklyn to get swept by Toronto 4-0. Just get them 2 series out the way. Bye. Go. See ya. We don't even want to talk about it no more. Let's talk about that 3 versus 6 in the East, though. The Boston Celtics versus Philadelphia 76ers. Ladies and gentlemen, I tried to tell y'all last week that Alvin Gentry was out of there for the New Orleans Pelicans. Well, here's another one. After the Philadelphia 76ers lose their first round series to the Boston Celtics, Brett Brown will be out of there for the Philadelphia 76ers. It's time. It's time. I mean, you don't blame a coach for injuries. It's not his fault. But you can blame a coach for a lack of effort, which I see in Joel Embiid at times. Lack of communication, which I see in the 76ers at times. I just think it's time for a new voice. We rewarded Brett Brown because, he was the coach during the whole process and the hard times he had when Ben got drafted and Embiid got drafted, dealing with injuries, which they're still dealing with injuries. Ben is gone right now from the bubble because of his injury. Joel Embiid, as soon as somebody farts on him, he's hurt. Tobias Harris is probably the most consistent guy on the offensive side of the ball. Josh Richardson gives you nothing. The rookie Matisse Thybulle is a defensive specialist. But, how far is that one defender going to do? Mike Scott, he's not going to be that consistent throughout the series. Come on now. Al Horford, Al Horford to give you a couple of good games, but they're not going to beat Boston. They're not going to beat Boston. I had that series going 5, maybe 6, but Boston's going to come out and be victorious And Brett Brown, that will be his last time in Philly coaching the Sixers. I think it's just time. I think Elton Brand's going to pull that trigger, and it's just time. And my personal opinion, Philly's best team was 2 years ago when they had shooters. I know they were 7 bounces away from the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and I get that. But they lost a shooter from last year, but they just don't have the offensive talent to beat Boston. Boston is well-rounded. Boston can't rebound, but you're not going to worry about that with just Embiid rebounding. You can box Horford out. Horford shouldn't get that many rebounds. Well, Boston can't rebound. That's one thing they can't do. But Tice plays hard. And you might even see Stevens have Tice and Cannon on the court at the same time at times, depending on the situation. But Boston's just too fast. Just too much better than Philly right now. Philly not having Ben takes a lot away from Philly on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. Them losing Ben takes away a lot. If they would have lost Embiid, I might not be so critical of Philly right now. But they lost Ben. I think Brett Brown's out of there. Brett Brown's out of there. Boston advances. Will end up playing Toronto in the second round, which will be an epic series. Then we probably got the most anticipated series in the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat versus the Indiana Pacers. Now, this series is tricky. And it's tricky because both teams almost mirror each other. They do. They almost mirror each other. They're both great defensively. Both have nice point guard play. Malcolm Brogdon is a problem, though. T.J. Warren's a scorer. Miami has scored. Miami actually led the league in three-point percentage, but I think Miami just has more scorers. Miami has Jimmy Butler. Goran Dragic can score. Bam Adebayo can score. Duncan Robinson can shoot the rock. Tyler Hero has a clip. Coming off the bench, Kelly Olynyk, Kendrick Nunn. The Miami Heat are a nice team. The Miami Heat can even play spoiler to a lot of these teams in the East. Indiana, nice team defensively as well. But we have questions with Indiana. What Victor Oladipo is going to show up? The key, Miles Turner. What's he going to do? This is where the Indiana Pacers miss Sabonis right here. I think they would have been comfortable playing anybody. Indiana would have been more comfortable playing Boston. I guarantee you that. Indiana would have been more comfortable playing Boston. They wouldn't have mind falling down to the 6. But they got to play Indiana. And I know everybody's talking about the T.J. Warren, Jimmy Butler feud and all that. Damn that feud, Indiana. Play ball. You got to play ball. That feud is not going to get you nowhere right now. And it's going to get you a first-round exit if you just concentrate on the feud. Nate McMillan doesn't like playing young guys. Aaron Holiday, I'm sorry. He's looked terrible during the bubble. Justin Holiday's looked real aggressive. Sumner could be a problem because he comes off and he is playing hard every game. But Indiana's not as deep as Miami. I don't see them winning this series. Again, this is where they miss a bonus. If they had Sabonis, this might go 7. If they had Sabonis, this series might have gone 7. But without it, I think it goes 5, maybe 6. I have Miami moving on to play Milwaukee in the second round, which is a very, very, very tough matchup for the Milwaukee Bucks. That's small ball, so to speak, not like Houston small ball, but Miami can tweak their lineup a lot to mess with Milwaukee. Y'all think I'm playing. I'm so serious about this. If you know basketball, if you've been watching the NBA, you know the Miami Heat have given the Milwaukee Bucks problems with their lineup. Miami has beaten Milwaukee twice this year. And I know I just said it's different from regular season to postseason, but that style of play gives Milwaukee, a team like Milwaukee, problems. I'm not saying Miami's going to win. I'm just saying it's going to give Milwaukee problems. But they're lucky because that other matchup in the East, Toronto and Boston, could be a long series. Boston has beaten Toronto multiple times this year as well. And again, Toronto and Boston was my original pick to come out the East. That was my original pick to come out the East. And I switched to Toronto. Got to see a little bit more in Toronto than I do see in Boston. I like Boston a lot. If they make it to the finals, I would not be shocked. But I switched my pick, and I'm going to stick with it. I think Toronto defeats Boston. I think that does go 7. I think that goes 7 games. Toronto wins that series in 7. I think Milwaukee beats Miami in 6 tough games. Milwaukee over Miami in 6. Toronto over Boston in 7, which brings us Eastern Conference Finals rematch of last year. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Nurse won that matchup last year when they switched the whole game plan and they just swarmed Giannis. Certain coaches, certain teams, they'd be like, you know what? Let the best player get theirs. We'll just stop everybody else. Nick Nurse said, hell no. Stop the best player because they don't have nobody else. And that's what happened last year. Milwaukee went up 2-0 last year. Nick Nurse changed the whole scheme. Milwaukee didn't have a chance after that. It was a wrap. What do I see this year? I see Milwaukee a little bit more prepared this year, but we just don't know who's going to help Giannis. We still don't know who's going to help Giannis. Middleton, he'll get his a little bit. But like I said, George Hill, stop playing. DiVincenzo, stop playing. Wesley Matthews, stop. Brook Lopez, not going to do that against Toronto. Brook Lopez, he will be absent in that series against Toronto. Everybody on Toronto plays D, y'all. Everybody on Toronto plays defense. And you know what? You know what else about Toronto? OG Anunoby, he's more confident this year. He's more aggressive this year. Him, Norman Powell, Ibaka. You still got Marcus Saul on the floor. You still got Siakam on the floor. They're just as long as Milwaukee, but faster, stronger. Guard play goes to Toronto. Van Vliet, Kyle Lowry, man, stop. Eric Bledsoe, man, stop. Eric Bledsoe does not fit Milwaukee's scheme. I do not like Eric Bledsoe in Milwaukee. I don't like him as the point guard for the Milwaukee Bucks. One, he's not even nowhere near as aggressive as he should be, like he used to be with Phoenix, like he used to be with the Clippers coming off the bench. Now that he's a starting point guard, he gives you like 7 points and 8 rebounds and 3 assists. I need more from you, Eric Bledsoe. I need you to be that dog. I need you to be that guy that we got from Phoenix that wanted his way out of Phoenix because we thought you were going to get something. You forced your way out of Phoenix, and you've been giving us bullshit ever since. That's what Milwaukee is saying. And if they're not saying it, they're thinking it. I'll say it for them. Eric Bledsoe, we picked you up from Phoenix. You came to Milwaukee, and you ain't done shit for us. You're supposed to be the third guy behind Middleton and Giannis. George Hill comes on the court. He's more aggressive than you. George Hill led the league in three-point percentage this year. Not saying you should have done that, but be aggressive on the offensive end, Bledsoe. You don't do nothing. I don't like Eric Bledsoe and Mike Budenholzer's scheme. I don't. That's where they miss who? Malcolm Brogdon. They couldn't afford to lose Malcolm Brogdon, y'all. They couldn't afford to lose him. If they would have had Malcolm Brogdon, guess what? I probably would pick Milwaukee to beat Toronto. I probably would pick Milwaukee to beat Toronto. But without Malcolm Brogdon, now that y'all didn't even damn near fight to try to keep him. Nah, bruh. I think Toronto beats Milwaukee in 6 again. And another trip to the NBA Finals. That's my pick coming out the East. Toronto over Milwaukee in 6. That's my pick to come out the East, y'all. Remember, ain't no home court either. And Toronto lost one game during the bubble. They just look complete. They're ready. Toronto got to Orlando 2 weeks prior to everybody else. Everybody else arrived around the same time, like the 20th of August, something like that. Toronto was there 2 weeks prior, getting ready for this right here. And it's going to pay off. Again, that's a testament to the coach. They knew they was going to be in this bubble for a long time. They know they're contending. For them to buy in, to leave their families 2 weeks earlier than everybody else, that says something how committed they are to the goal, to the main prize. Plus, they want to tell everybody and show everybody, hey, Kawhi didn't make us champ. Kawhi made y'all champions, but he also instilled championship DNA in us. Now we can take what we learned when we had a superstar. Everybody takes a little piece, combine it as a team, and now this is what you got. Another good product out of Toronto. Toronto been heavy hitting, y'all. This isn't nothing new. Toronto's been here. They've been here for the past 6 years. 6, 7 years. They just had that guy LeBron to deal with. They had no answer for LeBron. Dwayne Casey, good coach, but he had no answer for LeBron, and his guys didn't step up, i.e. DeRozan and Lowry. They did not step up. It was like LeBron was the boogeyman to Toronto. But Toronto's always been the first or second seed in the East the last 5, 6 years. So this is nothing new. Nothing new for Toronto. It's just new to everybody watching, seeing what they did last year with a superstar in Kawhi Leonard, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time NBA champion. He left, so everybody's like, oh yeah, Toronto gonna do shit. Me included. I didn't even have Toronto in the beginning of the year. I'll be the first one to say it. I didn't even have Toronto finishing in the top 4. As I started watching them, as I just kept looking out, and they kept playing hard. Fred VanVleet, what he did last year in the playoffs to where he is now, that's what made him. His coming out party was last year in the playoffs, especially in the NBA Finals. And here we are now. Siakam, here we are now. Guess what that does? That puts more minutes for an aging Ibaka. That puts more minutes for an aging Gasol. Gasol, all he got to do is worry about being a rim protector now, a defender. Again, Gasol is one of them guys who can't go outside and defend, but he don't have to worry about that in the Eastern Conference Finals against Milwaukee. Let Giannis shoot. Giannis shoots him now, but he's not consistent enough to be known as a threat outside that paint. Giannis' biggest threat is when he's freight training right down the lane like LeBron. When Giannis is in that open court, he's unstoppable. Let's just call it like we see. He's unstoppable. You get Milwaukee set up in that half-court defense, offense, though, Toronto can stop him. And that's what Toronto's going to do. Toronto's also very efficient on the offensive side of the ball. Very efficient. They move the ball. Toronto is a very, 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 very good basketball team. And that's why they're going to beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals again. And then that's when Giannis will start thinking of where his next destination will be. Toronto Raptors going to the NBA Finals once again. Let's go to the West, y'all. Woo-hoo! Let's talk about that 4-5 matchup. Denver, Utah. That might be another series y'all can go do what y'all need to do. Go wash clothes, smack your old lady on the booty, go get some wings from B-Dubs real quick, bring it back. Don't waste your time at no sports bar watching that. You come here, okay? Don't worry about Denver, Utah. It's going to be a good series. I'm not going to compare Denver, Utah like Milwaukee, Brooklyn, or Toronto, or Orlando. No. Denver, Utah going to be a very good series. It's going to be boring, but it's going to be good. Michael Porter's a problem for Denver. Donovan Mitchell's been playing out of his mind in the bubble. Rudy Gobert's been playing some very good basketball as well. Denver won all 3 matchups against Utah, but only by a combined 11 points during the season. Gobert is playing like he has something to prove because of the COVID situation. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what Gobert got to prove. They're not going to beat Denver. I don't think Utah will beat Denver 4 out of 7 games, but I think that series does go 7. I think Denver will pull it out. It's going to be hard for Denver, though, because I still don't think they have Gary Harris or Will Barton, but I think they have enough to defeat Utah in a 7-game series. Now, with that being said, I kind of think Utah can beat Denver, too, but I don't think Utah is as deep as Denver, and they're not as big as Denver. Denver's a pretty big team. Denver has a huge team, as a matter of fact. You got Joker. You got Millsap. You got Jeremy Grant. You got Michael Porter. You got Bol Bol, who's going to get minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Denver is a huge team. They run pretty good, too. Jamal Murray is back, which is a huge plus for them. This should be a nice matchup between Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell. UK versus U of L, Kentucky versus Louisville. Better be a great matchup. But Denver, I think they squeaked by this series. Both series Denver had last year went 7 games. First round, they went 7 games against San Antonio. They won. Second round, they played Portland and they lost. Got it. I think they go another 7 games in the first round against Utah, and I think they pull this one off, and I think they win. Denver advances to the second round. Who would they face? Denver is the 4 seed, so we'll talk about who they might face later. Let's move on to Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oklahoma City Thunder, Billy Donovan has done a tremendous job this year. Chris Paul, one of the best, I don't want to say it's his best season of his career. I would say it's his best season of his career leadership-wise. Leadership-wise, unquestioned the best of his career. I was one of the people who didn't think Chris Paul was even going to play in Oklahoma City this year. I thought he's like, man, he's sitting down, he's taking his ass somewhere, he's going to start ring chasing. That's what I thought. Man, Chris Paul, he really set the example. First off, he set the example as the president of the Players Association doing what he did this year, in my opinion. Don't matter what situation you're in, play through that situation and make the best of it, and that's exactly what he's done. He's taken them young guys. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, oh my gosh. One of the most improved players in the league this year. From 11 points to 19 points a game, they're near 20 points a game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, hell, y'all forget this guy had a 20-20 game this year. Matter of fact, he had a triple-double, 20-20 and 10 game this year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Man, like I said, one of the most improved players of the year. Billy Donovan, coach of the year. Excellent job. Excellent job. They have a shot to beat Houston. Ladies and gentlemen, Houston's not going to have Russell Westbrook for a few games in this series, if any games in this series with that strained quad. Now, is this one of those series you will let James Harden get his and defend everybody else? I think it is. I will settle for James Harden scoring high as he can, not efficient, because everybody knows how does James get rhythm? He gets rhythm going to that free throw line. James Harden can shoot 9 for 45, get 50 points, but he'll mess around and be 20 for 22 at the free throw line. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep James Harden off that free throw line. That is his main focus. You know he's not going to shoot no mid-range jumpers. So he's either going to shoot a 3 or he's going to take it to the hole and try to draw a foul. Matter of fact, he's going to try to draw a foul shooting the 3. James Harden is going to try to draw fouls, get to that free throw line. That's how he gets his rhythm. Oklahoma City can contain that. They have a shot to beat Houston. Guess what? This might be my first upset. Depending on if Westbrook comes back. If Westbrook comes back, I have Houston winning in 6. If Westbrook does not come back, I have Oklahoma City winning in 6. That's it. This is that simple to me. If Russell Westbrook comes back, let's say he misses like the first 2 games or whatever, the series is 1-1. Houston wins in 6. And I'll say this as well. I'll say this. Follow me right here. If Houston falls down in the series 2-1, they don't come back and win the series. If Oklahoma City wins the first 2 out of 3 games in this series, Oklahoma City wins this series. And I still say they win it in 6. Russell Westbrook got hurt at the wrong time. That is devastating. Honestly, I think the injury is worse than what they're leading on. That is devastating. They just got Eric Gordon back. Remember, they got PJ Tucker playing center. PJ Tucker can't put no body on Steven Adams. Steven Adams is a rock. Steven Adams is, come on, man. Love PJ. PJ plays hard. PJ plays tough. But with that being said, Steven Adams ain't no offensive threat. But Steven Adams is a great big man facilitator. Great big man facilitator. Playing small ball, you're going to need that. Houston's going to need Robert Covington to step up big. Robert Covington, I think, is the key guy for Houston. He has a good series. Houston has a chance to pull this off without Westbrook. But Robert Covington, Eric Gordon are the key. James Harden cannot beat Oklahoma City by himself. Westbrook doesn't come back, I got OKC in 6. If Westbrook does come back, I got Houston in 6. So we kind of got like a little, question mark with that series. But if Westbrook does not come back, I'm looking for Oklahoma City to win in 6. Moving on. We got the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Dallas Mavericks. This is probably going to be the highest scoring series of the first round. Matter of fact, both of them were top 2 in offensive efficiency. Clippers are going to win. Everybody thinks it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be close. I think this is the one team that Dallas did not want to play in the first round. Everybody else they wanted to play. They did not want to play this team in the first round because why? Dallas can't defend and the Clippers have defenders. Clippers have both sides of the ball. They're straight. Offensively, defensively, they have both sides of the ball. I'm about to say something. I might confuse y'all with this, but listen to me. Paul George is the best player on the Clippers. But he's not better than Kawhi Leonard. Does that make sense? I think Paul George is the best player on the Clippers. But he's not better than Kawhi Leonard. Here's what I mean by that. Paul George is a straight monster. Both sides of the ball. Just like Kawhi. Both sides of the ball. I think Paul George is more... I think he can just do it all. I think Kawhi can do it all, but I think Paul George does it all better than Kawhi. I'm trying to explain to make it make sense to you guys. I think Paul George... Here we go. Paul George is the best Robin in basketball. He doesn't have that Batman mentality. And that's what makes Kawhi a better player than Paul George. Clutch situations, Paul George just can't get it done. He just can't. He cannot get it done in clutch situations. We've seen Kawhi do it. And I'm not talking about the 7 bounce thing against Philly. We've just seen Kawhi do it in clutch situations. Take over the game. We've seen Paul George take over the game, but not win the game. We've seen Kawhi do that. That's why I say Kawhi is a better player than Paul George, but I think Paul George is the best player on the Clippers. I know you're like, what the hell is he saying? Paul George is phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. He is awesome. But Kawhi has the dog that puts him over the top, makes him better than Paul George. Paul George is terrible when it comes to game-winning shots, y'all. Terrible. But you know what Doc Rivers is going to do? He's going to set plays up for either Kawhi or Paul George, as he should. But he's got a team full of shooters on that squad. Anybody can shoot that tray ball on there. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Pat Pete, Jermichael Green can light it up from the outside, y'all. Pat Bev can hit shots. People can hit. You got Landry Shamet. You got Marcus Morris. Look, the more I'm about to say my statement, the more people I can give y'all. The Clippers are amazing on the offensive end. The Clippers can play D. That's why they're going to beat the shit out of Dallas. This ain't going to be no close series. I don't want to hear nobody talking about that top 2 efficiency teams. Luka is a problem. You're not going to stop Luka. You can make it hard for him, though. Porzingis, he got to get in that weight room some more. Montrezl Harrell is back, y'all. Porzingis ain't got nothing for Montrez. Got nothing for him. Nothing. I'm a Knicks fan. I've seen Porzingis get bodied by Draymond Green. Get bodied by PJ Tucker. I've seen this. You think Porzingis is going to dominate Montrezl Harrell? No. Porzingis better shoot nothing but jump shots. That's it. Now, I'm not saying Montrezl can go out there and defend outside the paint, which he cannot. But Porzingis better hope he's hot. Dallas better hope he's hot. Because they ain't got nothing for the Clippers. I got the Clippers winning in 5. They beat Dallas in 5. 4-1. And I don't even think it's close. I'm sorry. I don't. Luka's going to get his. He's going to get his 29, 13, and 10. He might average a triple-double throughout this series. But guess what? He ain't got nothing coming for the Clippers. Sorry, Dallas. You out of there. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go to one of the most anticipated first-round matchups in recent memory. The hot Portland Trailblazers versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers probably one of the most disappointing teams in the playoffs throughout the bubble right now. And now they playing the Portland Trailblazers. Dame Lillard, C.J. McCollum, Carmelo Anthony, who everybody wrote off, Yusef Nurkic. He's playing with a purpose right now. His grandmother passed away, as is Montrezl Harrell. He's also playing. This will be his first games back. But Yusef Nurkic is a difference maker for Portland. Anthony Davis got his work cut out for him. Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, you got your work cut out for. I need to see. Now, Zach Collins was hurt in that playing game against Memphis. I haven't seen no recent update on him. They don't play until Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. But we haven't seen nothing on Zach Collins, which means you might see Nurkic and Whiteside on the floor at the same time to match up with the Lakers, which would be real good. Ooh, that's going to be good. That's going to be good, y'all. That's going to be good. Guard play, I give the check to Portland. Front court, I give the check to the Lakers, Anthony Davis. Deeper, we've seen Gary Trent come out, play ball. We've seen Carmelo have like 3-4 20-point games in the bubble, hitting big, huge shots for Portland. I haven't seen that from the Lakers. I told you earlier, Danny Green made another stadium down there in Orlando shooting all them bricks. Caldwell Pope rolls his ankle every game in the bubble. Alex Caruso, what are you going to do? The Lakers just don't have that team to hit the switch like that. But they got LeBron James, y'all. And I'm not naive to the fact that they do. They have LeBron James. LeBron James has never lost a first-round series, y'all. Never. And how disappointing would it be for Portland to do all that fighting in the bubble just to lose in the first round? Dame is on another level right now. We've seen this from Dame. CJ's playing with a broken bone in his back, and he's still boogieing, hitting big shots. As much as I want to call this upset, as much as I want to call this upset, I'm not. I have the Lakers winning. And I got them winning in 6. I got the Lakers winning in 6. But I got Portland winning game 1. Portland wins game 1, but the Lakers win in 6. But I won't be surprised if Portland wins this series. I won't be surprised not one bit. But I got the Lakers winning in 6. Portland wins game 1, but the Lakers win in 6. Which sets up a second round matchup between Lakers and Denver. Now, folks, if the Lakers beat Denver, I'm sorry, that second round matchup would not be the Lakers and Denver. That second round matchup would be the Lakers in Houston. If Houston pulls it off, potentially. The Lakers better hope they play OKC. Or they're going to have another long series against Houston at small ball if they don't get their act together in their first round against Portland. The Lakers could possibly have the hardest roads to the NBA Finals number 1 seed it's ever had. First round, they got to play Portland. Second round, they got to play Houston potentially. Third round is what everybody wants to see, the battle of LA, Lakers versus the Clippers. Then you got to go to the finals and possibly play Portland. Oh my God, LeBron wins this. He deserves it. This would be his greatest accomplishment of all 4 of his championships if he wins. The greatest one. Then they put him on that plateau as one of the greatest Lakers of all time and everything. We're getting ahead of ourselves, though. But that's a potentially second round matchup between the Lakers and Houston Rockets. If the Lakers don't get their stuff together against Portland, they're going to catch even more hell with that small ball against Houston. If Westbrook comes back. Which will leave the other second round for the Clippers versus the Denver Nuggets. I think they will run through the Denver Nuggets. I don't even think that's close. I think they win that in 5. I think the Clippers destroyed Denver in 5 games. Sorry. Sitting there waiting for the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Woo! I think the Clippers will beat the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. But I have to say Lakers because I chose the Lakers. You know what? Fuck that. I got the Clippers beating the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Kawhi plays his old team in the NBA Finals. I ain't going to give a prediction on that yet. I should, but I'm not. But I think the NBA Finals will be between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Toronto Raptors. I just don't see the Lakers turning it on like that. The Lakers, they shook me. They shook me during these 8 games in the bubble. But I got them going to the Western Conference Finals like I got Milwaukee going to the Eastern Conference Finals. NBA Finals will be a matchup of both 2 seeds. And it's going to go 7 games. And the winner of that will be... I'll tell you later. But that's my playoff edition. Short, sweet, to the point. Probably gave y'all a couple of things y'all say, man, what the fuck he talking about or whatever. But yeah, those are my things right there for my predictions. Thank y'all for tuning in to the BillyFai podcast, y'all. We're gonna be making more episodes quite frequently during these playoffs. See if I'm right, see if I'm wrong. See what these first game 1s we're talking about. We're going to break those down after all 8 game 1s have been completed. Thank y'all for coming out to listen to another episode of the BillyFai podcast. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.